typical thing that would happen when you were a little kid, or even last week when someone unexpectedly came to your house and your mom was like, panic mode, everybody clean something, you know, and you're like shoving crap in crazy places, and then you lose it, you know. But you do open the door, right? Even if you hide it, you would still open the door. Sometimes my wife is just like, whatever, just let them in, you know, and it's like kids everywhere, diapers everywhere, toys everywhere. She would kill me if she knows. Hopefully she doesn't watch the tape. All right, so that's one option. The second would be keep the door closed. Like, heck no. This was like the story of my high school career. Jesus was like knocking all these different ways, and I was like, no way, Jose. No way, Jesus. No way to Jesus. Keep that door closed. The third would be, I just straight up didn't hear him knocking in the first place because I was too distracted. I had my earbuds in. Couldn't hear him. I was busy doing like 8,000 other things. I was playing 8,000 sports at the same time, and I wasn't home when he was knocking. You know, like I am distracted. And so I didn't even hear him knocking. Here's a cool little image. I like the who's shining. Just blink. Okay, just like when you walk into Target and there are all the TVs or something. All right, tonight we're not going to focus on the first one, open the door. If you have opened the door in any capacity, thanks be to God, keep opening the door, all right? If the door is closed to your heart, option number 2, just want to pray, and hopefully you would enter into this prayer that, like, at some point, hopefully soon, you would respond to that grace to open the door. I'll never forget talking to one of the 8th graders here at the school. This was several years ago. We were having this really powerful conversation about Jesus and having a relationship with Jesus, and she just straight up looked at me and she said, if I fall in love with Jesus, like if I have a relationship with Jesus, will my life be fun anymore? And I think that fear actually, in many ways, is often the reason why we keep the door closed. Because we're afraid that in some way God is going to take away from my life. Like if I let God in, my life will no longer be fun. It will no longer be exciting. Pope Benedict has this great quote. Some of you have seen this before. But this is from the first homily he preached as Pope while he was it was his inaugural homily. He said, are we not perhaps all afraid in some way? If we let Christ enter fully into our lives, if we open ourselves totally to him, are we not afraid that he might take something away from us? No, if we let Christ into our lives, we lose nothing, absolutely nothing of what makes life free, beautiful, and great. No, only in this friendship are the doors of life opened wide. Only in this friendship is the great potential of human existence truly revealed. Only in this friendship do we experience beauty and liberation. I would argue that life actually gets more fun and more exciting because the adventure is something beyond anything any one of us could ever cook up for ourselves. So if you've got the door closed, I just want to encourage you maybe to take a chance and open it up. But tonight, we are going to deal with why we don't hear him in the first place. Because I think that this is probably the position that the vast majority of us, including myself, are in. We're just distracted with a lot of stuff, and we don't hear God. Yes? No? Do you feel like that is maybe kind of where you're at? Okay. Okay, a couple of provisos here. First of all, in what follows, I'm just raising some observations, all right, for why I think we're so distracted. And these are not comprehensive. We could surely come up with others, all right? I'm also not going to give you really practical strategies for how to deal with your distraction. because I feel like we do stuff like that a lot. Today I actually want to try to get what's underneath our distraction. Okay, so I want to kind of go at the root more than like snipping off limbs. Okay? Last proviso. I'm preaching to myself as much as I'm preaching to you tonight. Because as this talk was developing throughout the week, I was just like, dang, I am a distracted fool. Like, I need to hear this tonight. So hopefully it helps me, and hopefully it helps you as well. Ready? This thing's probably going to keep doing that, so don't be distracted. Okay, I just want to examine two causes of our distraction. The first one being technology, the second being overactivism. What is overactivism? Well, it's kind of a made-up word, but I heard it in a YouTube video once and I liked it. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about political activism. Okay? We're not talking about political activism or campaigning or raising awareness for some particular issue. We're really talking about activism in a philosophical sense, which is this overemphasis on activity for the sake of activity. Just staying busy for the sake of staying busy. This is really profound when you ask someone, hey, how are you doing? And they'll say, good, man, I'm keeping busy. Has anyone ever said that to you? Good, I'm just staying busy. Because that's what life's all about, you know? As long as we're busy, dying, we're good. That's a good life. But the position's kind of absurd. Because have you ever heard, like, at a funeral or when someone who's passed away is being, like, praised or honored, no one ever says, he was a good man because he was busy. We want to honor him because he was a busy guy. No one ever says that. No one ever praises someone at their time of their death because they were busy. Right? So we're going to dig into that position a little bit more. I think that both of these are highly relevant for teens, so hopefully you find this helpful. Let's talk about technology. What is it? Okay. It comes from the Latin word techne, means craft, activity, not like arts and crafts, but like working with your hands, okay, making stuff. Activity, a skill. Technology is the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes. Only things which are practical have practical value. And this is called pragmatism. So technology kind of runs right into pragmatism. So that which is practical, which practically applies to my life, is really all that matters. Okay? And we see it most commonly today as a use of machines to solve problems. The use of machines to solve problems. It was fascinating. This summer I had a chance to visit this basilica that's near where I grew up. And while I was there, I went down into the Undercroft Church, and there are all of these crutches and wheelchairs, and there's this basket that's about like 7 feet long. People marched with this paralyzed man for, I forget what it was like 60 or 100 miles to take him to this church to pray for healing, and he was healed. And so they left this wicker basket that they carried this man in. And I'm staring at this basket and looking at the sign and reading the story, and I was profoundly struck by how often I just think medicine or medical science or technology is going to solve all of our problems. Just because this person goes to the hospital, he or she is going to be fine, right? That's how we think a lot of the time. All right, so technology, using machines, etc., to solve problems. Now, how is technology impacting our lives? How is it impacting our minds? Just a few quick things here. First of all, your brain is plastic. Not like it's plastic bottle or something like that, but then it's malleable, it's changeable, and it's always being impacted by our environment. So your brain is always changing. Now, what's happening with technology is that thought and activity, so thinking and doing, are becoming intertwined. Okay, this looks perhaps something like what I do nearly every day at my computer. So I was listening to a podcast on this, and the priest who was speaking called it the blitzkrieg, where you just sit down and you're like incredible amounts of work are coming out of you. You know, does this ever happen to you where you're like, I just got to get stuff done? So I will literally sit down at my computer. I'll be sending an email. Kristen could probably attest to this. I'll be sending an email while texting, remembering that I forgot to put something in my calendar. So I'm doing that. Boom, that's in the calendar. Oh yeah, there was a word that I couldn't remember the meaning of. I'm going to check that out. Okay, now I forgot it already. Next, you know, and I'm doing things. I'm being active. I'm getting things done as fast, or almost in a certain sense, faster than I'm actually thinking about it. We do this kind of stuff all the time because what we're thinking and what we're able to do can happen just like that. The problem is it's basically mindless activity. Okay. Other things we're finding out, more and more teens are using online memes or like social networking as an escape from reality. So there's some sort of conflict in life, and I can just escape from that or distract myself from that by entering into virtual reality where I can recreate myself as something other than what's really going on. This is interesting. So a lack of rest for the brain. What's going on here? First, the light that's produced by screens, it's like blue wavelength light, which actually causes you to wake up. So when we fall asleep looking at our screens, our brains actually think that we're still awake, which results in very poor sleep. So it's great because Apple's solving this problem by helping us with an amber like glow screen, a backlit screen that's amber, which doesn't have the same effect as the blue wavelength light, thanks be to Apple. Because now I can fall asleep looking at my phone or my iPad and still get a great night's sleep. All right. There's another interesting thing. They studied this on rats. It's always interesting when they study rats, but they continued to stimulate the rat, right? They would stimulate the rat's brain, okay, with constant activity, and the rat could no longer form long-term memories. Okay? What is happening to us then when every moment when we find ourselves like inactive, like there's nothing going on, what do? The phone comes out because there's nothing else going on and I need to distract myself right now. You know, and so there's this fear that as this goes on, our ability to think deeply about things, our ability to form long-term memories is going to be diminishing. But that's okay too, because we have like Google and we can just back up all our photos, so we deal with our memories by looking at photos. You know? All right, distracted living means constantly seeking instant gratification. That's kind of a no-brainer, right? We can just instantly gratify ourselves the second we feel uncomfortable in any way. And there's also been a noticeable lack of focus and just a loss of eye contact. I've actually noticed this in my time doing youth ministry. Like, your ability to focus is far different from the teens who were sitting in here like 5 years ago. Because most of you had like smartphones since you were in junior high. Perhaps. Okay? I was also talking to this woman who does business. She's in HR, so she interviews people all the time. And she said she just started noticing that the kids who are graduating from college now are very poor at making eye contact and actually holding conversation with her. Okay? So this stuff really does impact us in many ways that we don't often think about. All right, so that's a little bit about technology. Now, overactivism. Overactivism. Couple of provisos here. Okay. First of all, when I start talking about this, I'm not talking about like our desire to work hard or our desire to seek after greatness. All right, those are good things. Okay, our desire to work, our desire to seek after greatness, those are good things. Second proviso, much of the stuff that we do is actually good. They're good things that we're involved in. Okay? Perhaps we do too many of them. Story from my life. Sophomore year of college, I just jumped into my university full force. Okay? I was involved in the following. Full course load. Started dating Katie, who would become my wife. Got involved in a household, which is like a fraternity at Steubenville, without all the craziness that usually goes into a fraternity. Okay, but still a lot of commitments. I was running my own homeless ministry in Steubenville. My room looked like a food pantry. It was amazing. All right? I was involved in the pro-life stuff going on campus and would frequently, like once or twice a week, go to the abortion clinic in Pittsburgh. Intramural sports. I was involved in some liturgical things on campus. I was working on campus. And at the end of the semester, I thought I was going to die. Okay? I just started to realize I am entirely too involved, and all of the things were good. They were all good things. But I got just too wrapped up in them, and then what starts happening? Well, you start sucking at all of them, right? For lack of a better word, because you just humanly can't keep up. And so they all actually suffer. And you start wrapping your identity into the things that you do, because we're all about activity. That's what makes life good. And you're left empty, right, when you can't keep up your commitment. All right, so let's go a little bit more into overactivism. I have a feeling that everyone in here, most people would say, yeah, I'm too busy. My life's too busy. And I say that because over the past year, these are like direct quotes from you, okay, collective you, when I've been talking to individuals. I'm too busy. I'm stressed all the time. I feel depressed and alone. I get busy, and when I get busy, I isolate myself. There's so much pressure to succeed. I wish I could just be a kid again. Okay? Those are direct quotes through conversations I've had with you. I found this really interesting Washington Post article. This is from 2008. How many years ago was that? 8. Someone almost said 6, but we got it. Right? Nice job. Okay? For Jessica Huey, the circumstances preceding the episode she calls her nervous breakdowns were always the same. Listen to this. She was exhausted. It was 1 a.m., and she still faced a mountain of homework that was due when school started at 7:20 the next morning. What time's Indian Hill start? 8? What time's Madeira start? 7:35. Okay, I knew it was somewhere around there. I would look around and think, I can't possibly get all of this done. Have any of you ever had that thought? I can't possibly get all of this done. Anyone? Okay, I would put both of my hands up. And then burst into tears, said Huey, who is 17 and scheduled to start her senior year of high school next month. Even while she was weeping, Huey recalled, she felt like she was wasting valuable time. Her freakouts, Huey said, were a consequence of a frenetic schedule. Just listen to this. Which last year included 3 AP classes, a part in the school musical that required frequent rehearsals, sometimes stretching until 10 p.m., a regular babysitting job, participation in both the school and church chorus, membership in a club for students interested in business, a volunteer weekend gig, making candy, that's kind of cool, SAT prep classes, driver training, and homework that averaged 3 hours a night. Does that sound like anyone in here? Somewhat-ish. Okay, some hands were like, possibly me, All right, here's the deal. Nowadays, for high school kids, everything is about college, right? Those of you who are in school, they start talking to you about college probably during your orientation, going into freshman year. Everything's about college, everything's about your resume, everything's about money. And a lot of you will go to college with the first year of college actually done, because you're doing college in high school. Everything's about success. And we define success by making it to the top, having a lot of money, having financial security, by comfort, or the ability to have anything I want, whenever I want, then I'm successful. Okay. So my argument tonight is that these are two major reasons why we're so distracted. Technology and this overactive lifestyle. Okay?